Welcome back to the morning show here on Horizon News. And joining us now with stories trending around the world is Ojy Okpe. Good morning, Ojy.
Good morning, Leila. How are you?
I'm good.
Hello, Ojy. Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Bati. How are you?
I'm good.
Good morning, Tunjun. Happy Friday to you guys.
Friday.
And good morning to you viewers. We begin what's trending today in Nigeria. Social media is abuzz with how Nigerians react to new allegations that the raid of women at an Abuja nightclub back in April was authorized by a government official. A report from David Hudeni of Newswire uncovers the ordeal of 6 victims in the hands of the Abuja Environmental Protection Board. The report reveals testimonies that allege the acting secretary to the FCT Social Development Secretarial, Hajia Safiya Umar, influenced a significant part of the raid. According to the report, Hajia Umar was accused of directly and openly coordinating one of the most worst human rights violations in the history of Nigerian democracy, stating that on her orders, hundreds of women, including nursing mothers, were raped, assaulted, kidnapped, and unlawfully detained in filthy conditions. Nigerians on social media are using the hashtag Abuja Raid to protest and call for justice. A tweet for Stand to End Rape initiative said, "Women, like all humans, have the right to exist and freedom of association without fear of assault. The Abuja Environmental Protection Board and other bodies have no mandate to impede these rights. The state-sanctioned human rights abuse, rape and extortion must stop. Hashtag Abuja Raid."
Disgusting.
Well, I think, the major problem you have here is the characterization of any woman, as a prostitute. And it's a form of gender discrimination. Because if you look at the story, it's an assault on the dignity of women. Because when they go and conduct these rapes on hotels and clubs, the assumption is that if you are an unaccompanied woman, or if you dress in a particular woman, so the police and the agency, the Abuja Environmental Protection Board, will assume that you are a prostitute. And then you are taken wrongly. Your freedom is taken away from you. And then you get to the police station, where the police station continue with this discrimination against women. Because in all of the reports, I did not read that men were also, arrested like that. And it's a form of abduction by the state. And I think that the activities of the Abuja Environmental Protection Board should be investigated. And many commentators have called out one Hajia Safiya Umar, who is said to be the director in charge of social protection services at the Federal Capital Territory. Now, if the issue is about the environment, there's a lot to be done about the environment in Abuja.
Exactly.
About debt, about, all kinds of, problems within the metropolis. But to assume that any woman who is in a club or in a hotel is a prostitute, I do not know how that poses a threat to the environment. And I think that the Federal Capital Territory and the relevant departments there owe Nigerians an explanation.
Right.
And the Honorable Safiya Umar herself, I would have expected that within the last 24 hours, would have spoken up to clarify what exactly is going on. And the affected women should just not take this as given.
Yes.
Those who have been raped, who have been assaulted by the police, which is very notorious for brutality and discrimination and assault on fundamental human rights, should press charges. They should go to court. They should speak up.
They have to.
Because we cannot have a situation of rape for freedom in our police stations.
Otherwise, it will continue. This is the most disturbing. And because this body is headed by a woman, is particularly galling. What kind of person is this?
But then that also goes to show what we have in government, because really and truly, when it comes to the narratives about women in Nigeria, it's actually women that spearhead a lot of the nonsense that goes on, and it's so disgusting to see. It is revolting.
Yes, this lady, she is at this point almost faceless, because when you Google her, you can't really find much about her. There was a video of her on social media talking about the decency of women and how women should be dressed, and women should, probably start tying their hair or something like that.
Me?
Yes, yes. But at this point, these are all allegations. There's no face to these 6 victims that David Hundeyin interviewed. So at this point, I think that we should just hold off and wait for her statement.
Those persons should come out. They
Yes,
should press charges.
and it should be documented properly, just like the way it was done with the sex for grades. Because, it is important for women to tell their tales. I'm not saying that they should, show their faces, but there should be, a real documentation on how this whole process happened. One of the women who is allegedly called Cynthia, I believe, was one that actually made specific statements against this Hajia lady. And at one point, I believe that she had, pushed this Cynthia girl out, and, the girl was naked, and then pictures of her was taken in front of a police station or something in that manner. So these are graphic reports, and I believe that, there should be a real investigation, especially against this woman, and she should come out and make a statement if these allegations are false.
Just the constant harassment of women in society for just being women it's disgusting.
Yes.
It is disgusting.
Yes, I'm really embarrassed at the situation
And
at this point.
We were there the other day. I was, patting Nigeria on the back. We're patting ourselves on the back. Like, we don't have unequal pay. But we have horrors like this. This is the problem. And for me, women like this, I always think of those women. Look at female genital mutilation.
Yes.
It's not a man holding down the little girl. It's a woman doing it to another woman. It's women like this that really do so much damage to the rest of us.
They're the ills of our society.
You're right. There are other conversations going on social media right now with religion and things like that. So it's almost it's either our culture or the religion that makes us act in this manner.
But these issues are not even religious issues.
There's no religion that endorses the brutalization of women.
There is religion that says that you should cover up.
That says women should be raped?
No, I said
that
cover
policemen
up.
should rape women?
But,
that's actually also
I'm talking
cultural
about
influence
else.
on religions.
But even with all that, it's so barbaric. And there's no place for vice in any society. Prostitution needs to be stamped out, controlled, whatever it is.
Yes.
But to accuse just any woman on her
because
own
when they see these women walking on the street without their clothes on, a woman like the Hajia who is saying that we should cover up would be frustrated, because obviously she's she has that in her mentality
but
culture.
But that's a mental illness. When you're trying to force your mentality or your culture on other people, then you are mad. Frankly, you need to be checked. You need medication.
Do you have any other story?
Yes, I know you're itching for this story, Dr. Abati. I'm going to tell you the story.
I don't know what the story is.
I'll tell you right now. Let's take a story on social media. Facebook and Instagram have proscribed the use of some emojis it considered to be sexually suggestive. The social media giant announced a decision following a review of its sexual solicitation community standards. The new guidelines, which were introduced in August, states that any contextually specific and commonly used sexual emojis will no longer be permitted alongside sexual statements. The rules that the proscribed emojis, which include eggplant, peach, and water drips, should no longer be used to depict sexual activity, and nude body parts can't be covered up with the playful symbols. The recent development further stretches the ongoing changes taking root across various social media platforms worldwide. I mean, Dr. Abati, I'm waiting for your comment first. But,
you don't want to hear my original comment.
I do want to hear your comment. I don't want to hear your original comment.
No,
but I mean, this is ridiculous, I think, because they say that Facebook is arguing that, they use these emojis for sexual violence or, the conversations. But, I mean, there are other emojis like, the banana or like, the donuts or whatever it is. Actual,
they're missing the point.
They're missing the actual
There's so much more to be done than this pettiness.
Yes, they will discuss Twitter's ban on political ads, and but those are like really important issues.
No, but let the point be made that the tech giants, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, they have a responsibility to help, shape public morality, and if they are trying to check sexual violence, sexual harassment, child pornography, hate speech, or any form of violence promoted online. I think that at the level of principle, that makes sense, But to stretch that to cover emojis, emojis are used as shortcuts for expression.
It's a healing process.
Especially now when Mark Zuckerberg refuses to acknowledge or act upon the fact that Facebook is the most popular platform for images of children being sexually abused. They've done nothing about that, but they're doing something about emojis. I mean,
misplaced priorities completely.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
But then, they also say that you can't use it
because many of those emojis, really, if you don't know what they represent, I see many of them. I don't even know what they mean.
Yeah, but then
I
also,
didn't even know that was sexual.
how can you? I know you wouldn't know because you're not on social media. But anyways, I guess that's all we have for this
segment. Ojy, that's all we have.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Enjoy your weekend.
Have a great weekend.
Yes.